Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Are you thinking about going through the club fitting process? If so, there's a pretty damn good chance you've already started to do some research. Maybe you've made that short list of some golf clubs that you might be interested in, and better yet, maybe you've already started to look at some of the local club fitters in your area that could potentially help you. And there is a plethora of information out there on what to look for, but not that much content and ways of what not to look for. So in today's video, I'm going to share the 5 biggest mistakes I see a lot of club fitters make when they take their customers through the fitting process. So if I piqued your curiosity, let's roll up our sleeves and jump in. Now, as a quick disclaimer, we do know all club fitters aren't created equal. How one club fitter approaches the fitting process versus another will look a little different, not to mention the philosophy and strategy that goes along with performing the fit. But the one thing is for certain is that the information I'm going to share with you transcends across all styles and types of club fitters. So if you happen to see any one of these mistakes made during your fitting session, then just press pause and just have a little dialogue with your fitter to see if we can try to dive a little deeper. So without further delay, let's talk about the first club fitting mistake. Distance, distance, distance. This, without question, is the #1 mistake I see a lot of club fitters make, and that's they get so fixated on the distance number alone, they forget to validate how healthy that distance is, and more importantly, how repeatable that distance is. What good does it if you can only hit that 300-yard bomb 1 out of 5, 3 out of 10? We got to help you find the consistency and the ability to control that distance. In fact, I will go this far, that when I take my customers through the fitting process, distance is the last thing I'm chasing or even looking at. The very first thing I'm trying to achieve is I'm trying to straighten up my customer's ball flight. I'm trying to reduce how much the ball is curving right or left because I know I can improve that spin number and I can turn those bad shots into good shots if I'm able to do that. The second thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to optimize the launch conditions, trying to get it into that ideal launch window between 13 to 15 degrees, depending on the golfer, trying to get that ideal spin number between, say, 2,000 to 2,700, and trying to find that perfect apex to coincide with their club head speed. So if they're swinging in 100 miles an hour, I want to try to get it, at 100 feet in the air. And then that's going to give me an ideal landing angle to not only maximize the carry, but also get a little bit of roll after the fact. And when I approach it like this, the distance just becomes a byproduct, and then I'm able to turn those good shots into great shots. So if your club fitter happens to get locked in on the distance alone, just press pause and asking, well, is that a repeatable and healthy distance? The second mistake I see a lot of fitters make is they put too much emphasis on the good shots and not enough on the bad shots. In fact, I will go this far. When I take our customers through the fitting process, any opportunity I can get to boast about the bad shot, I'm going to take full advantage of it. So I'm talking about those pushes to the right, the pulls to the left, and it's still going a good number. You're still going to be able to have an opportunity to get up and down without putting too much pressure on your technique. And it really does speak to the forgiveness of the combination that we're working with. So once again, I'm going to highlight those good, bad shots. And we all know that golf is a game of misses, and our ability to be able to get up and down is a lot easier if we only have to worry about the directional challenge and not have to worry about direction and distance and get that double penalty. So here's what you're going to want to look out for is as you hit a series of shots, double check and make sure that your club fitter isn't removing too many shots. And you'll know this by how many shots are actually left for you to do the comparison. If you only have 1 or 2 shots in that sample size, that's just not enough, and it's potentially only telling you one side of the story. So the next time your fitter says this is the best combination for you, Have him show you how good those bad shots are, and you just might be surprised. The next mistake is a really common one, and it's one that I even have to watch out for because every now and then it will rear its ugly head. And what I'm talking about is staying in a combination longer than you should. As an example, when you go through the fitting process, the club fitter is likely going to have you try 13, maybe upwards of 17 different combinations. I'm talking about different heads, different shafts, and everything in between. The true secret is you never want to stay in one combination longer than 5 to 6 shots. And here's the simple explanation. If I give you enough swings, at some point in time, you will figure out how to square the club up and hit it better. But if that takes you 10 to 15 swings in order to do so, I can assure you that's going to defeat the purpose of finding the best instruments that's going to work with your swing, not against it. So here's my golden rule I always like to follow. If you have to adjust and adapt to the golf clubs you are using, this is my number one red flag that the golf club isn't the best fit for your swing. I don't want you to adapt and I don't want you to adjust. So the next time you go through the fitting session, if after 5 or 6 swings, or if you felt like you've been in any one combination longer than you should, just politely push back and let the club fitter know that, hey, I'm really not feeling this combination. Can we move on? Now, this next club fitting mistake is one I have zero tolerance for. In fact, if I see this in my studio with any of our fitters, I will step in and intervene and actually get them to correct it. And what I'm talking about is utilizing the quiet fit approach, or another way to look at it is providing no explanations. You guys, this is what that's going to look like. You step into the fitting bay and a club fitter hands you a combination. You hit your 5 to 6 shots and the club fitter might make a remark, yeah, we don't like that one, try this one. And you go on and repeat that 3 or 4 more times. But at no point did the club fitter help you understand what he liked, what he didn't like, and more importantly, why was he trying different components? Why was he moving out of this head versus that head? And why did this shaft, maybe do a little better or do a little worse than the previous shaft? So the fitter should bring you along for the ride and help you understand what he's trying to influence as the fit progresses. And if you're not getting that feedback, then use it as an opportunity to take a breather, right? Just ask the club fitter, hey, we tried a couple different combinations, what are you seeing back there? Help me understand what's so unique about this combination and how does it differ from everything else that we may have tried? And if the club fitter is worth his weight in gold, he will gladly respond with what he's trying to affect or influence with the changes he's making. Although it may seem like you shouldn't have to ask, we do know, once again, all club fitters aren't created equal, and some are more outspoken than others. But the one thing you should not accept is the quiet fit approach. Bringing it all home with our 5th and final club fitting mistake that we will see comes down to introducing too many variables or making too many changes at one time. And we know that if the club fitting is more of a progression and the end state is to identify not only the best club head and shaft, but how that club needs to be built and assembled to achieve the result we're chasing, then it is paramount that we understand how each one of those components and variables will affect the shot outcome. So let's say your club fitter hands you a brand new combination, and in that combination is a different club head and a different golf shaft. So what may appear to be 2 small changes could actually affect 10 to 15 different fitting variables a club fitter now has to take into consideration. And even if you were to hit that combination better, how can a club fitter confidently know which of those fitting variables were affected by the changes he just introduced? And to expand on that, let's dive into just a golf shaft alone. If we were to make a golf shaft change and we go from one shaft manufacturer to another, that's one change. Let's say I move from 120 grams to 105 at the same time. That's 2 changes. And let's say I wasn't comfortable with the speed that you was presenting, so I also dropped you down in flex. So that's 3 changes just by making 1 shaft change. And then if I made those changes, there's a pretty damn good chance the balance point of that golf shaft is going to be vastly different. So that's a 4th possibility. And then as a byproduct, the swing weight is going to be either lighter or heavier. So that introduces a 5th change. So making 1 golf shaft change could potentially affect 5 different things that I need to watch out for. So guys, just please keep in mind that it's okay to make changes as the fit progresses. That's the true goal. Identify the best golf club for your swing, but as long as we're keeping those changes to an absolute minimum as we move from one combination to the next, will we be able to find you that best instrument. So there you have it. These are without question the top 5 club fitting mistakes we'll see happen across the club fitting industry. So whether or not if you've been through the fitting process before or if you're thinking about going through the fitting process for the very first time, at least now we hope this information will help you get the most out of the club fitting experience because you'll know what to look for. So should you have any questions or comments about today's video, then do me a favor. Just leave them in the remarks below and I'll do my very best to help you find the answers to the questions you're searching for. So until next week, don't forget to take a look at one of these videos over here because who knows, there just might be a couple golden nuggets that can continue to help you on your golfing journey. So until next time, thanks for watching.